Hello and welcome to A1 channel. Serbia holds the record for being the first and only country that shot down an American stealth airplane F-117. On 27 March 1999, the fourth night after the NATO bombing of Yugoslavia started, an F-117 Nighthawk flown by Dale Zelko, a veteran from the Gulf War, was returning to the Aviano air base in Italy after bombing a city near Belgrade. However, when NATO attacked Serbia, they considered the Yugoslav air defenses obsolete, but as it later turned out that they couldn't be as wrong. Belgrade's air defenses operators had found they could detect stealth planes using some slightly modified Soviet radars. In particular, the modifications involved using long wavelengths that enabled such radar systems to detect the stealth planes at relatively short range when the low radar cross-section of the aircraft was affected, when the bomb bay doors were open to drop 2,000-pound bombs. Moreover, Serbs monitored US and Allied radio comms on UHF and VHF frequencies, mostly unencrypted, as Libya did the same thing 12 years later during the opening phases of Operation Odyssey Dawn over Libya, and were also able to intercept NATO planes' ATO, air tasking orders, that enabled them to put anti-aircraft batteries at positions close to the ground targets. In other words, Serbian air defenses knew where and when to look at incoming bombers. In fact, when the F-117 Nighthawk flew over Buanovci, the 3rd Brigade of the 250th Air Defense Missile Brigade, under the command of Colonel Doni, armed with a Yugoslav version of the Soviet ISAF S-125 Neva missile system, were able to detect the F-117 Nighthawk at a range of about 23 kilometers, operating their equipment for no more than 17 seconds to avoid being locked on to by NATO anti-air suppression. As Dale Zelko was flying, he didn't notice about anything until he saw 2 missiles punch through the low cloud cover and head straight for his aircraft. The first passed over him, close enough to cause buffeting, but did not detonate. The second missile detonated, causing significant damage to the aircraft and causing it to tumble out of control. The explosion was large enough to be seen by a Boeing KC-135 flying over Bosnia. Dale Zelko had problems ejecting due to the G-forces that couldn't make him assume the correct posture. However, when his parachute was finally deployed, he used his survival radio to issue a mayday call and was able to contact the KC-135 that had seen him shot down. He was able to land near Ruma, and then he quickly concealed himself in a drainage ditch that he had identified as a hole-up site while descending. Then, 8 hours later, he was rescued by a combat search and rescue team flying with an MH-53, and then Dale Zelko learned that he was minutes away from being captured by some villagers. Now the remains of the F-117 are in a museum in Belgrade. In fact, once the war between NATO and Yugoslavia was over, an American general went to visit the remains of the plane in the museum in Belgrade and asked the Serbian staff, "How was it, fighting the strongest country on earth?" At which, the Serbian staff replied, "We have never been at war